What's up, everybody? What's up? I am back to do another DreamWorks review. As I stated. This one will be known as Turbo. Yes, I'm going to be reviewing Turbo for you guys. Turbo. You know, turbo fast. Yeah, I actually do want to review this movie and all that, because this is actually one of the DreamWorks movies. It's actually one of them, I believe, in this decade that actually has not had a sequel. I think it had a TV show, either that or it was some shorts. I don't know, because some DreamWorks movies have had shorts, you know, kind of like Pixar and all that too. So I've been wanting to kind of talk about this movie because it's on my to-do list. But before I do, I need to kind of tell you guys something about this. Yeah, I've been meaning to talk about this, and the reason why it's been taking me so long to review this movie is I actually ran into some problems. Like, I'm not sure why, but my Blu-ray was not playing. Like, it was playing for a second on my PlayStation 5, but then it like stopped. So I'm not sure if this is one of those movies that's region locked or not, because I was reading that some of the movies are region locked, and I can't really watch them, you know, anywhere else. And I have other stuff I can watch this stuff on, but the stuff the other places I can hook this stuff up is in the basement. And right now, I hooked my heater up to the, to the wall, and I guess it took out the entire breaker downstairs. So all the stuff, even by the outlet where the TV is at, is not working. So, unfortunately, I cannot do that. So, I can now, because, I did go to Slackers yesterday, and I was able to actually get the movie, not on Blu-ray, unfortunately. They didn't have it on Blu-ray, but they did have it on DVD, so I bought it. So I was able to watch it last night. I actually came back from a funeral. One of my dad's friend's kids had someone die, and I wanted to go to the funeral, / ceremony. I didn't know they were doing a funeral too that day. I thought they were just doing the ceremony and then the funeral, but no, they were doing the funeral too. So yeah, unfortunately, I was not able to do. Well, I had to wait to get home to watch it last night, and I did watch it. I watched the entire movie. Also, I still do have a Halloween video I want to do. It's a late one, but I don't think I'm gonna get it done this week, so it'll have to be done for next week. But I'll explain more about the Halloween video and the troublesome with that later. So, but I've had a lot going on and all that, so, I'm just happy that I can review this movie and all that. I guess I will say before I do start the actual review, I also want to state this. I want to state that, the thing I want to state about the Halloween stuff is I actually did have more reviews planned. Because I figured because it's a review, I wanted to do some review stuff, and I had some, actual Halloween episodes I wanted to review, but I didn't get around to one of them. And then, with shows and all that, I was not able to actually get to the reviews to actually, review the stuff. So yeah, basically it was kind of a mess. I'm not gonna lie, it was a huge mess, but that's kind of the thing with the whole, the reason why it was hard enough getting to this movie, because it's really hard to come across these, they want you to pay for a lot of this stuff they want you to pay for it, like, and I'm not gonna go on streaming to pay for something that I can just, if I'm just gonna buy it on DVD down the road, So it's like there's no reason to rent it, when I could just, like, actually own the thing, Because that's how, I don't think I brought that up with my, my movie, the Hotel Transylvania 4 review I did. That was something that, I did watch it, because it was so hard to come across. It wasn't even on DVD. It was one of those that was, like, it did get eventually released on DVD, but I had to, like, rent it for a while there and to watch it, so. But that was, like, a few years ago, and before I started kind of, like, really getting, to these reviews. I was watching, I think, I already did reviews on Sony movies and all that, so there was already that, but, well, not Sony, I mean, Illumination reviews. I did have those, but like I said, I had to, like, I basically was forced to, like, watch it by renting it, and I didn't want to do it with this movie, because I'm like, I don't want to go on Amazon to rent it, if I'm gonna buy it on DVD anyway, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I will say that, there's definitely been a lot of stuff going on with that. But I am happy to say that I finally have gotten my, gotten things straightened out. I also am going to grab my score system thing here, because I literally forgot about that, so. Because, I was too busy trying to set this up and forgot to do that. No biggie though, I can set that up. But now I got everything straightened out now. I got the score system and all that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start the review. So I'm gonna start reviewing Turbo. So Turbo. I gotta tell you guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, though, Turbo is, like, as I stated, Turbo is basically a movie that never got a sequel. It's one of those, that didn't get a sequel. I think we've had some other ones, I think, oh yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy was one of them, that came out in that decade, it didn't get a sequel. But a lot of movies like How to Train a Dragon, and The Croods, got a sequel and all that. Turbo was one of those that did not get a sequel. Yeah, it did not get a sequel. It got like a cartoon or something that released on Netflix, but it did not get a sequel, which is actually pretty cool. I do want to point that out, that it's pretty cool that Turbo did, that you can see the original, font of Netflix before they changed it. So it has the red and it has the red and all that, which is pretty cool. Now, Netflix has actually changed their font a few times. They went to, like, a single N, and I think now they're back to just saying Netflix. But of course, the red one was very cool. I think it made it stand out more. The red background and the white. They kind of like flip-flopped it around pretty much is what they did. They flip-flopped the font. So instead of the background being red, it's now white. And then instead of, the words being like, I think they're like red now. But of course, it doesn't have the black, like outline to it. So it doesn't look as three-dimensional, which kind of sucks, but it's still pretty cool. You get to see this old stuff. So yeah, back in the day, that tells you that even back in 2013, they were releasing shows for this, which is pretty cool. I don't know, like, when they started doing it, because Netflix, for a while, there was more so a cable thing, kind of. It was a cheaper version of cable. So, I don't know how long they've been actually doing that stuff. But like I said, though, I'm kind of, but I'm still pretty cool we get to see that. I'm happy we get to see, see, like Netflix and all that. Makes me wonder if we can see Hulu, because I think Hulu did the same thing too. They kind of released shows and all that, because Hulu was kind of like, well, it's not like Netflix anymore. It's basically kind of, a Disney thing now, so I don't know if people still use Hulu to really release shows, but I could be wrong, But people are kind of just creating their own streaming platforms now too. So, like I said, I don't know. But anywho, though, yes, I want to talk about Turbo, because I kind of been going on about that, but I thought that was just a cool thing to kind of point out that if you get DVDs, you can see that kind of stuff sometimes. That's why I own some VHSs too, because you can see old stuff like that too. But I was gonna say though is now Turbo is where like I kind of want to talk about this and actually I don't know if I'm gonna say this before I start actually talking about the movie itself. I want to say I don't remember this. I could be remembering this wrong, but I think Turbo. I believe Turbo was actually made by the people who made Cars. I don't really know. But that's just what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. Like I said, it could be just a whole different thing. But Turbo definitely feels kind of like Cars. They took ideas from Cars, which some people might say it's a rip-off, but I don't feel like they rip off Cars. They actually they do something like it, but they make it its own thing, And I'm alright with that, I'm just like, if they could take an idea from it, I'm okay with that. I mean, look at, like, other movies, like, let's say Star Wars, for example. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember which one came out first. We'll say Star Trek. We'll say Star Trek came out second. Star Trek took a lot of, stuff from Star Wars. The Star Trek ship actually looks a lot like Han Solo's ship, and then they go to planets and all that. So they both kind of share some ideas, but they actually create something new with it, which is really cool. Which is actually what I like, and that's the thing with like movies. Also, like the Illumination, The Secret Life of Pets. A lot of people are saying that's a ripoff of Toy Story. I really didn't see that. I saw some similar things they did, like. They have like the animals go on their own adventure and all that, like the toys did, and then they have like the whole thing where the toys don't get to, like the toys, what they show the toys what they're doing and all that, on their own thing. But I wouldn't say it's a rip-off. I will say Toy Story was probably better in my opinion, but things like that, like I said, it doesn't mean it's a rip-off, but. Like I've said, like I said too, that's just what I would think. I think some people might think this is. Now, for the movie itself, a lot of people don't talk about it. I'm not kidding. I'm not really kidding at all. A lot of people do not talk about this movie. And there's a big reason for that. This movie is known for people, I look at this, I don't know if I would say people say this movie is as much as a ripoff of Cars as more so, it being boring, because I've seen people say that, I've seen people say, that I think it was a ripoff in the past, but like I've said, I don't see a lot of people talking about the movie either, so I can't tell you, but I will say people have said this movie is very boring. It's very boring, it's not interesting, A lot of people kind of look at it like, a lot of people don't don't talk about it because of this, and that's probably why it never really got a sequel, I think the movie, could use a sequel. I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel of this movie. I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel to this movie at all. I think this movie could really use a sequel. That said, though, I hate to say this, but I kind of agree with what people are saying about the movie. I do think the movie is very forgettable at times. And all the characters, well, not all of them, but a good chunk of them are just like, they're just pushed in the background and all that. I mean, it's very straightforward, too, with the whole, like Turbo and this Mexican guy are two different, kinds of people. Well, Turbo's a snail, you know what I mean? They're two different kinds of species, because humans are, animals, too. We're technically mammals, but we're like, we're animals as well, but I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but that's kind of what I mean by, like, two separate species, But both of them are not happy with, the jobs they have, Both of them kind of want to, do their kind of own thing and all that. So it feels very, very similar and all. And I mean, it could work. My problem is they focus way too much on them and not really the side characters or anything like that. The side characters, they get a few, moments here and there. Like, I really like the old lady. Like, I really like her. She's kind of like, she's actually voiced by, I think his name is Ching Chon or something. I think is his name, the actor's name. I can't remember. He's like a cheats. I think his name's Ching Chon. I could be remembering his name wrong, but I think I've heard his voice before. I was thinking his voice was Agnes, from The Incredibles. But no, that's actually she's actually voiced by a different male actor. But it's really kind of funny how their voice sounds familiar and all that. And also, I will say, we also get other voice actors. Like, we get Samuel Jackson, a.k.a. Mace Windu, the guy who played Mace Windu. I know that's probably a weird thing to point out, because a lot of people would say Mace Windu, but that's the biggest thing I know him from. And plus, you can actually see him too. You can see him. But he stars in a lot of roles too. Actually, I think speaking of Incredibles, I think he was Frozone in The Incredibles. So he at least came from that movie, but the voice actor of the old lady was definitely not him. The voice actor of Agnes from Incredibles. But it's really cool, though. We do get some, famous people and all that here. But my problem is like I said, they're very, very, I think even he has more to do in the movie than the actual side characters of the Mexican guy who sells tacos. I could go for some tacos, though. I wouldn't mind having some tacos. Having some nice tacos. Who here wants tacos, huh? As long as they're not expensive, I'll take some tacos. I would take some tacos from this guy. I feel bad for him and his brother. They're not getting a lot of customers, but I think it's his brother or his father. I don't know. I can't remember, because the thing is, he's like a lot older. You can tell he has like gray hair and all that, but I don't know. He also kind of looks like they could be brothers too. I don't really know. I don't think they ever really explain it. But it just seems like he's very, into, helping him out. But I'm going to assume they're brothers because the Blue Snail and Turbo are also brothers, That's the thing, though. The older one is kind of just trying to keep his brother out of trouble and all that, And that's kind of how it is with the other ones, too. But like I said, though, this movie though, I will agree with people and say, yeah, it is kind of slow. Ironically, though, I'm gonna say that this is something that's kind of funny to point out. This movie feels like a car, like a race car. And you're probably wondering, what am I talking about? What do I mean by that? This movie here actually has, it starts out like it very slow, and then it picks up, and then it slows back down, and then it picks up. It literally does that throughout the entire movie. I'm not kidding. It's literally like a car. It doesn't even have to be a race car. Well, actually, I would say a race car because a race car goes very fast. That's how this movie is. It feels like it goes very fast, and then the movie slows back down. It literally goes back and forth, back and forth. Like, it really does. It feels like it does that throughout the entire movie. Like, non-stop. Like, literally, like, it has its very, very slow moments, and it has its very fast moments when Turbo gets his powers and uses them. But like I said, it has some very slow and boring moments, too, throughout the entire movie, you know? Like, I just feel like it kind of goes back and forth and all that, and, that's kind of the thing with the movie. Like, it just, like, it literally just, it feels like it doesn't know how to write slow moments, so the movie ends up feeling kind of like it drags a lot during its slow moments, but during its fast moments, with Turbo showing off his powers, and then, you know, we got the, you know, Turbo showing off his powers, and then getting his powers and all that. It feels like it knows what it's doing there, but I think the biggest problem with the very slow moments is, the characters themselves just feel very, like I said, they feel one-dimensional. They don't feel like they don't have a lot of screen time. They don't really add much to the movie. They're just boring. You know, they're really boring. Like I've said, they feel boring. You know, they focus way too much on Turbo and all that, and you know, and the Mexican guy and his brother, and then, you know, Turbo's brother and all that, and less on, like, the side characters. So they feel like they're just more background characters than actual side characters. And that's the problem. They just feel very boring and all that. Like I said, the old woman does give me a few chuckles and all that, but for the most part, she's just there, too. She doesn't have anything to do with the movie and all that, and I just feel like, yeah, like I said, I feel like the movie just drags. It drags way, way too much. Way too much it drags. And it can definitely get very old, I feel like, after a while it can. But I will say, though, I do really like the fast moments. I do like the part where they're racing. Which I was going to talk about this, too. Speaking of the racing, I will say, like Turbo basically did the same thing Lightning McQueen did in the first Cars movie. And I think later, that yellow girl car in the third movie, I think I forgot her name, but they do the same thing where they do this bonk on the road, and then they go right over their opponent's characters. That's literally what Turbo does. Turbo does that too, which I thought that was pretty cool. It definitely feels like either they're a very big fan of Cars and kind of took some ideas from Cars, or they are the same people who wrote it and all that. But honestly, I don't know if they would write this stuff or not. I'm not sure. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it just has producers, and maybe there was a different writer. I don't know. It just feels kind of like it's not really the same thing. You know, like I said, they're not really ripping off Cars. They're more doing their own thing, and that's what I like. They don't need to rip off of a movie to make it good. They can take some ideas and do some good stuff with it. But that's kind of what I felt. I saw that moment at the end of the movie, which is pretty cool. But the thing is, though, I'm gonna say I have two bigger problems with this movie than it just being, you know, Turbo. You know, well, Turbo's movie being kind of slow and all that. Like, I will say that I think Turbo's brother can be kind of annoying. Like, he can be very kind of like, I feel like it takes him like forever to have faith in him until the final act and all that. And I get he doesn't want his brother hurt. It's supposed to relate with the audience in the real life, this kind of situations. You know, they want to look out for their siblings. My problem is they drag it on way too long, and it can get kind of annoying. He's kind of just an annoying character. I mean, I get why he's mad at Turbo too, because he got fired from whatever they were doing. I guess getting food or something. So I'm just like by the way, those snails actually at the beginning of the movie don't even show up ever again. Like, I feel like they would have shown up at the end of the movie, but they don't. They don't show up at the end at all. They're just like gone. So, like I said, it just feels like I said, I just find it kind of annoying, like, listening to him kind of just gripe about his brother and all throughout the entire movie. It just gets old. Like, I mean, I'm fine with it at first, but then they thought they should have some moments where, like, they build up, but they kind of just don't until, like, the very final act where all the cars kind of, crash and all that. And you could say, well, he saw him in there and was trying to, and saw how good he was and actually had faith in him. But still, I'm like, I feel like they dragged it on way too long than they should have. Also, speaking of racing, I'm going to tell you guys another thing that probably pisses me off, and I agree with a lot of people say out there, is the twist villain. Yeah, this movie basically went with 2010's Disney and decided to make a freaking twist villain. They did. They decided to make a twist villain, and this twist villain is the racer guy. Which, I mean, you can say maybe it's... Well, it's not the twist itself. I guess it kind of is. Like, it feels like it's thrown in out of nowhere. We don't really get any screen time with him being, really evil. I mean, we get to see him at the final lap of the final part of the movie. But I guess you could say that maybe they're trying to, like, show people that, like, you shouldn't always trust your idols and all that. Which is honestly, in my opinion, kind of how a lot of Hollywood celebrities are, like, even I was little and liked a lot of them, and now that I'm older, and, now I just don't like them as much anymore, but I just hate how they kind of throw the twist in there and all that, and also, he's one of the people who kind of encouraged, him to race. I guess he was probably maybe like, well, nobody else is going to, well, they're probably not going to back it down with everybody doing it, so that he was probably like, well, might as well just get in on the crowd, but I'm like, even the guy who was in charge of that stuff, with racing and all that, he didn't even he was still not hesitated on it, so I'm just like, why did he need to jump in on it? And also, he could have killed the snail in his hands, which I'm not saying I'm not saying he should have, but I'm just saying, he had him in his hand and all that. He could have freaking killed him, but instead he threatens him and all that, and I'm just like, I don't know, he's a villain. He sucks. Like, I freaking do not like him at all. He's probably one of the worst villains, maybe the worst DreamWorks villain I've ever seen so far. I think even Shark Tales has had better villains. Heck, I think I'll take the villain from Cars, the first Cars movie over this. I don't know about the second one, the second and third one. They're both, I don't know, the third Cars villain, I would say, is probably, I don't know, he's probably the worst of the three. I don't remember. I'd have to watch the Cars movies again, but I do remember he was kind of just a forgettable villain too. But I'd rather have, not have a twist villain and all that, and give the villain more screen time and all that. Maybe we could have seen, or maybe we could have had more laps. Like, they could have made the final act a bit longer and kind of showed him trying to, like, cheat to win and all that. I don't know. I just feel like they kind of didn't. I mean, even I guess technically at the beginning they didn't really set him up very well. Like the whole point of him is not to cheat. So I'm just like, why does he want to destroy the snail? I don't really get it. I guess because he doesn't want to lose, but I'm like, he doesn't have any. I mean, nobody knows the snail can actually race. So I'm like, I don't know. The whole thing just feels freaking confusing. But that said, though, this movie honestly is kind of just, it's honestly very forgettable. Like I said, it has it's like a race car, where it speeds up and slows down. Or actually, in this case, I think I should word it more as a human and a snail, like a human running and a snail running. Or actually, even better than that, how about a snail? A snail racing, a normal snail racing in a car, like a race car. Like, It literally is like that. Like I said, it feels like it picks up really fast and then it slows way down, where I feel like it's kind of just like it goes back and forth throughout the entire movie. Because like I said, the background characters the side characters have nothing to really do with the movie and kind of drag it down way too low. But you know what? Forget my puns. I'm not gonna make any more puns. Let's just go ahead and rate the movie. This movie is definitely a meh, and at 47 points. Yeah, sorry about the terrible puns, but honestly, that's really. I'm not even trying to make really puns anymore. I'm just like, at this point, I'm kind of just describing this movie, as it is. But this movie is like getting 47 points, which honestly is not very good. This is not very good at all. This movie is not very good. Like, it's not a very good score. I will say, unlike Cars, I don't think this movie is even close to as frustrating as Cars was. Actually, I think that all three of them kind of are frustrating. Well, except the final one. The final one was not as frustrating, but it was still more frustrating in this movie. My biggest problem is, like I said, this movie it's very slow at times, and it picks up and it slows back down. And I think the biggest thing that makes it speed up is Turbo's powers and all that. We get to see him in action, which is really cool. I really like that. But then they kind of slow back down a lot, like throughout the movie when he's not speeding up, because again, the humans, and a lot of the snail characters are just kind of generic and one-dimensional, and they don't have anything to really do with the movie. I mean, I guess technically they do help Turbo, on both sides do, but still, I think it's just very boring and all that. Honestly, I was really close to giving this one a bad. I thought about giving it a bad, but I'm just like, I don't know, I don't think it's like, it's got moments I like about it, but honestly, I don't know, I don't know if I would really want to watch this movie again, and that's the thing though, like, if I don't want to watch the movie again, and I should make it a bad, but I don't know, I had some things I liked about the movie, I really did. But compared to, like, other racing movies like Cars and all that, I don't think it's as memorable. And I mean, Cars, in my opinion, Cars, like, was actually more frustrating. This is just more boring, which is not as bad and hard to watch, but at the same time, you're not really going to get anything out of watching it. But I don't know, I don't think this movie, again, deserves to be, it doesn't deserve, I feel like, to be bad, because there are moments I like, but honestly, I just think 47 points is probably where I'm going to hit this movie, and I mean, maybe I might watch it down the road, but honestly, I have no point of watching it right now. It's just I guess it's just not very memorable. Probably one of the most weakest DreamWorks movies I've seen. But that's just my opinion. If some people like it, that's fine. It's just my opinion. And all that. And I will say, too, I was going to try to give a comment question for this movie, but I couldn't. I wasn't figuring out how I wanted to do this. But I was thinking about maybe just comparing this movie with the first Cars movie, but I didn't actually do that, so unfortunately, I don't really have a comment question for this, but I guess you guys can tell me at least if you guys prefer Cars 1 or this movie. I mean, I don't care if people like one or the other, if you hate both. It's your guys' opinion. But I'm actually going to be going ahead and letting things go from here, because I need to actually, I'm going to be making some food here soon, so anywho, because I got to make dinner and all that for people, so anywho, I'll see you guys later. Have a nice, wonderful day. Bye-bye.